Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you guys want to check out my social media or check out a badass kick-ass original story, check out the links down in the description below. Hope you enjoy the video. So I figured I'd go ahead and do this video. I've been planning it for a few weeks. I've been wanting to do it for a few weeks, but I had to beat Observer, Redux, and the Medium. But I figured, you know what? It's the middle of the day on a Sunday. I won't even schedule it. I'll just go ahead and upload it because I'm actually pretty excited to do it. And it's been a pretty good weekend. It's been a great weekend. You'll hear me talk about this in tomorrow's video where I do the Of the Dead ranking for George Romero Of the Dead films. So don't think I'm just like, going to bring it up in every video because I filmed that one before this one and it's coming out tomorrow. So, but yeah, yesterday we tested out the film that we shot last summer. And in theaters because it's going to be shown in theaters this week, and it looks great. It's really exciting. I cannot wait to share more of that with you guys, and hopefully I'll make a video of that too this Friday for the premiere and stuff because it's a big deal, and I'm super pumped. But I really did want to talk about Bloober Team. Now, for those of you guys that do watch my videos and keep up with them, I'm a big gaming fan. I love playing video games. Even though I talk about movies a lot more than games, I still like to talk about video games. But when I do something with video games, I like to do it a little bit different. Like I still do my sort of review or discussions on my Instagram page after I beat the game. But it's just, like movies are so much easier to review because sometimes I get to see, I go to early showings or I get to see movies early, or I get to, see them on the first day, and then, it's only like a 2 hour long, maybe 3 hour long movie if I'm fortunate enough to see that. And it's a lot easier to do a movie review because I can either get that out early or the same day. With video games, that doesn't happen. And I have to beat the game, and then by then it's like a week, 2 weeks and stuff. So I just don't even bother doing game reviews anymore. I do my game of the year. I might talk about some gaming topics. But this is one that I did want to talk about because Bloober Team is actually, I mean, they're in the discussion right now when it comes to gaming. They are definitely in the discussion. A lot of interesting things with that studio, especially with the medium and that being an Xbox Series X exclusive, and the way that Bloober Team has started to approach their games recently, well, especially with the medium. And I figured I'd go ahead and talk about that because this is going to be my top 5 favorite Bloober Team games. Now, I've only played 5, but I do consider Bloober Team to have sort of this like big 5 when it comes to their games because they've made games before, right? I mean, I mean no disrespect, but I don't think those games are as well known or as good or just as popular as the 5 that's came out. I feel like these last 5 games that's been released by Bloober Team have been their best work, so that's what I'm going to rank those by. And also too, Bloober Team is apparently possibly, I don't know if this is true or not, I've been hearing a lot of rumors about it, but I heard that they're going to be making the next Silent Hill game, and I'm just going to be completely honest. Not going to sugarcoat it. I don't want that. I do not want Bloober Team to touch Silent Hill. No offense to Bloober Team. If somebody that worked there just so happened to find this, or if you're a big fan of Bloober Team, no disrespect. They make great games, really. And they do make sort of scary games for the most part. I just don't want them to touch Silent Hill. I really don't. And I know I shouldn't be that way because, I mean, who's to say that they won't pick up Silent Hill and do it justice? You never know. You should never doubt anybody or any team. So, I mean, even if they do it, I'll keep an open mind and I'll play it. But that's just one thing, and I'll get to that whenever I do rank these, and I'm not going to waste any more time. But I'll sort of get into that actually with the one that I'm about to do. So let's go ahead and start this ranking. So at number 5 for my top 5 favorite Bloober Team games is the Medium, the latest game that just came out for the Xbox Series S and Series X. Now, I was actually really pumped to play this because it has the traditional tank controls of like something like Silent Hill 1, 2, or 3, or the old Resident Evil games. I was really excited for that, and at the beginning, my rose-tinted glasses were, I mean, they were definitely they were fogging my vision because I loved it. I thought the first hour and a half, 2 hours of the Medium was just awesome. I was like, holy crap, this game is just amazing. I'm so glad we're getting this. And then I realized something dawned on me. It just doesn't work. I didn't think it worked. Especially with there being no enemies besides the enemies that chase you around, or the enemy that chases you around, which is basically it might as well be scripted, which it is. Obviously, the enemy has a certain time to chase you around the game, but it just didn't work for me. I mean, I just hide behind a crate, hold your breath, peek out, bam. I mean, really, the medium. I mean, you could literally rush through, just like any other Bloober Team game. But you could really rush through it like easily, and there's meant to be enemies chasing you. Um, or that enemy chasing you. It just didn't work. And the story, and there's actually something very interesting that I found out. Now, I was listening to it was like a podcast or a documentary, and they were talking about how they didn't really appreciate or like the direction of Bloober Team storytelling, what the writers do, because they don't take a lot of their topics as serious. I don't know if they're talking about like mental health or assault, or other types of assault. But they were talking about how in Poland their views on that are drastically different. But I don't know if they were actually sure about it. I'm not sure. I'd have to watch that video again, and I probably won't. But yeah, I did want to touch on that a little bit because I wasn't a big fan of the story. But yeah, this game does not really. I mean, it takes it. I feel like it takes it serious. Like I feel like I could give them credit. It's not like they just poke fun at it or just throw it out there. I can't even talk. Throw it out there to throw it out there. But if I can say something about that, which watching a lot of cinema, watching a lot of film, that's one thing that I've seen is Polish cinema. And there's a film that recently came out. I think it was like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago, 2018. There was a film called Cold War. And they do kind of touch on that a little bit towards the end of that film, which I won't spoil anything. And yeah, it's a blunt film, and the way the film ends is pretty blunt. And I haven't had a chance to watch the Decalogue yet, and I think that's another Polish film series, episodic series or whatever. I actually have it, and I'm waiting to watch it. But yeah, if I can sort of testify against that, that might just be the way that they do things with their writing and stuff. So I can easily give that a pass. But the story itself, though, I just wasn't really invested in. I was sort of invested at the beginning when you go to the funeral home and you're with the father and stuff. Um, but other than that, I really honestly couldn't tell you what this game is about other than it's a split screen game with one player and you're in this different world and then the regular world, and you use this different world to help you progress through the regular world, or the regular world to help you progress through the different world. You're being chased by this thing. There's this girl that's following you around. It's a lot, kinda, but I found the medium really hard to follow, and that's why it's at number 5. Now, the next ones, my 3 and 4, they're sort of interchangeable, but right now at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and say this is, how I see it. But I do think I could maybe switch them around depending on the day, possibly. I'm not sure, but I think this is pretty set in stone for me. And I'm probably going to have to, well, no, it is. It's pretty set in stone. Number 4, I'm going to have to give it to the Blair Witch. I don't think it's actually called the Blair Witch Project. No, it's called the Blair Witch. Now, when this game first got announced, I was pumped. I mean, when I saw the reveal for that, I was like, whoa. Whoa. Like, I thought that was like one of the coolest things ever. Like, I seriously was so ready for a Blair Witch game, and it did deliver. Like, I did enjoy the game, but there was some stuff about it that I just did not like, and I just did not care for. Like, I just it's if I can say this, it's a very forgettable game. Like I don't really remember too much from my experience, though I do know that it is about, it's set after the first game, I believe, and it's I think a police officer or an ex-cop and his dog, and you are, going through the Blair Witch the woods, what's it called? The Oh man, I don't know. Blair Witch fans are probably going to hate me, and I'm a big Blair Witch fan. Like I love the series. I'm a huge fan of the first film. Um, but yeah, it's just it's a fun game, and it has its scares. It's a very it doesn't really hold your hand, and that's one thing that I do appreciate. And I really did enjoy the finale with the Blair Witch House, and how they did that with the camera, and how the ghost is sort of chasing you around, or the witch or whatever. And I really did enjoy the attention to detail with the whole the Blair Witch House and stuff. And yeah, it was good. I really did enjoy that game. I mean, it did have its flaws. It wasn't the best thing that I ever played. I know I do have a review on it if you want to check that out. Maybe don't. I don't know. But I do feel like my feelings have changed. And thinking back on it, it could have used a lot more. Like I feel like it could have been a little bit longer. Could have been a little bit scarier, more tense moments. But other than that, though, I did enjoy it. Looking back on it, though, I did enjoy it, and I really did enjoy the dynamic with the dog. And I feel like it's a good Bloober Team game. And if I may add something, especially with the medium, how they done the tank controls, medium should have been first person. I really do believe that it should have been first person or third person. I would say first person the most, just because there's not really much to the medium. Like, I mean, you don't really do much. You just walk around, and I think that's kind of silly with the tank controls, especially if you're not really doing anything. Um, but I do think that's the way Bloober Team should do their games, unless they're doing something drastically different. And like I said, the medium is a different game. I just feel like it's, the reason why it feels so different is because of the tank controls and the sort of split screen. But other than that, I mean, you're just going through these locations, walking around, and seeing all this atmospheric stuff. But Blair Witch, though, good game, good game. Like I said, could have done some work, could have used some work, but yeah, I did enjoy it. Coming in at number 3, now this is one that I recently played, and I know this is one that a lot of people love. I know a lot of people really do love this game, and I enjoyed it. I really did appreciate the the simplicity of it, especially at the beginning, where you just pull in in this like futuristic car, and you're going in this futuristic apartment complex. But the game that I'm talking about is Observer. Now, I played Observer Redux, and I'm not exactly sure if there's too big of a difference with the other game. Like, I've sort of seen the graphical improvements, and I think they actually added more to it in terms of like quest or story. Um, and I enjoyed Observer Redux. I really did enjoy it a lot. And it really is one of those games where when you actually figure out what to do, it makes you feel really clever. And that's one thing that I really do appreciate about like the Observer in general. It's a clever game. And I'm not going to lie, I had to look up some walkthroughs because it can get complicating at times. It really can. But Observer, though, it's good. And if you don't know what it's about, which I don't want to spoil too much about it because there is a story, obviously, but you're a detective in like this futuristic dystopian city, and you're in this apartment building, and you're sort of investigating a murder, and it's actually really interesting the direction that it takes you. If I did have to describe what Observer is, I would honestly say it's Layers of Fear, but in a dystopian future, and I think that's pretty cool. I liked it a lot. There are some okay scares in it. I did feel like it kind of dragged just a little bit towards the end, especially for the length that it is, which it's not a long game at all. But I really did enjoy my time with it, and I'm glad I did decide to pick it up. I got it on sale. I was like, okay, I'm going to check out Observer Redux. But yeah, Observer Redux, third favorite Bloober Team game. Coming in at number 2. Now, um, I'm a little bit biased when it comes with this series or this franchise from Bloober Team, but and my number 1 is the one that I played the most out of all these. But coming in at number 2 is Layers of Fear 2. I have a soft spot for Layers of Fear just because of how much I enjoyed the first game. But Layers of Fear 2, I really do appreciate how they sort of keep that sort of like artistic kind of vision when it comes to horror. It works. Like with the first game, you're a painter. Second game, you're an actor. I would really love to see the third game, maybe be an artist, maybe like a musical artist, maybe a singer or a guitarist, a drummer. There's all kinds of different ones you could do. You could do sculpting, like you could do, heck, you could even do like a director or a photographer. Like I would love to see Layers of Fear evolve a lot more from what it's doing now, because I really do enjoy that series, and I really would love to see a musical one. Like I really would. Like, I mean, you got Layers of Fear, which I think is in like the 1800s, and then you have Layers of Fear 2, which is in like the early 1900s. It would be cool to see like a Layers of Fear 3 in like the late 60s, early 70s, maybe late 70s, early 80s, and kind of have sort of that the music and stuff, and maybe get some rights to some songs. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe sort of give it that. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it because I'm gonna wait. I'm done not pronouncing things right. I feel like it screws up my videos a lot, but yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And then you could go to like modern day with maybe modern day photography. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that they could do with that series, but that's going to lead me to my number 1 pick, which is Layers of Fear. And the reason why I feel like I could have ended the video after that, just because you already know the ranking now. But I really enjoy the first Layers of Fear game, guys. I seriously just love that game. I played it close to when it first came out on PlayStation 4 with the Inherited DLC. And then me and my wife played it not long ago too. It was, I think, before Layers of Fear 2. We just, we just sat down and went through it. And it's fun. I seriously really do enjoy Layers of Fear. I think Layers of Fear has a clever story. I think it has a very, very, very interesting concept. And it's just one of those very satisfying games. I mean, I would probably put it in my top 10 favorite, survival horror games of all time. And while it might not be scary to, somebody that's used to hardcore games, or hardcore survival horror games, it really is different, and it really is something to admire because what they do with that game is just overall, I mean, it's fantastic. I would honestly go as far as saying Layers of Fear, the first one, is practically a masterpiece in my opinion. I seriously really do enjoy it. And I was playing this one back whenever like the first Outlast came out and stuff. But yeah, guys, that's my ranking for the Bloober Team games. Let me know what your guys' ranking is down in the comments below. Like I said, it's just my opinion, so if you disagree, that's cool. Yeah, I don't want them to make the new Silent Hill game. If I can just add that one more time, I just don't want to see that. I just don't want to see it. That's just me. Hey, anyway, Bloober Team, if one of you guys are just so happening to watch this video right now, look, I love your team. Seriously, I love Bloober Team. Bloober Team, I think, is one of the greatest survival horror teams, out there making games. It's just, I don't know. I kind of wish, Bloober Team's games were scarier. But hey, I still enjoy them. They do got their scares. They're atmospheric. They got some good stories, and that's just my ranking. Just because I'm not a big fan of the medium, doesn't mean that I'm not a big fan of the other ones. Like I said, I love Blair Witch. I love Observer. I love Layers of Fear 2, and I absolutely adore the first Layers of Fear game. So hey, there you go. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't ramble on too long. Anyway, hit that like button. Hope you're staying safe wherever you're at. Maybe subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.